Welcome back to the Real Supernatural Ghost and Horror Stories channel on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is about the different types of exorcism across religions and cultures will give you goosebumps. The back of your hair sticking straight out, tingling feelings as though somebody is watching you like you're not alone. So turn off the lights, listen carefully, warning. If you're afraid, close this immediately. Exorcism is one of humanity's oldest answers to a fear that has never fully disappeared. The fear that something unseen can enter a home, cling to a body, poison a mind, or linger in a place long after the living have tried to move on. Across religions and cultures, exorcism does not always mean the same thing. In some traditions, it is a direct command for an evil presence to leave. In others, it is a purification, a prayer for deliverance, a ritual cleansing of spiritual pollution, a negotiation with the dead, or a healing ceremony meant to restore balance after something sacred has gone wrong. The words change, the symbols change, the robes, prayers, bells, incense, water, salt, scripture, talismans, drums, and chants all changed. But beneath them lies the same terrible idea, that the human world is not always sealed shut. This story moves through some of the most haunting forms of exorcism found across religions and cultures, not as a manual, and not as proof of the supernatural, but as a dark journey through the rituals people have used when ordinary explanations no longer felt large enough. Some rites confront demons, some address jinn, some release restless souls, some cleanse impurity, some call upon divine authority, and some treat possession as something more complicated than evil. Yet every tradition carries its own warning. Because the most frightening part of exorcism has never been the chanting or the candles or the trembling walls described in old accounts. The most frightening part is the silence afterward. When the room becomes still, everyone believes the danger has passed, and no one can be completely certain what truly left, or what simply learned how to remain quiet. Number 1, Roman Catholic exorcism. Roman Catholicism has one of the most structured and carefully regulated exorcism traditions in the world. A minor exorcism consists of prayers asking for protection from evil influence and is commonly associated with baptism or spiritual struggle, while a major or solemn exorcism is a formal rite directed at a person believed to be suffering from demonic possession. The Catholic Church does not permit just anyone to perform this ritual. Only a bishop or a priest who has received the bishop's explicit authorization may carry it out. Just as importantly, the Church teaches that claims of possession must first be examined seriously through medical, psychological, and psychiatric evaluation. Because not every disturbing experience is understood as supernatural. Number 2, Eastern Orthodox Christian exorcism. Eastern Orthodox Christianity uses prayers of exorcism and deliverance that are deeply rooted in its ancient liturgical tradition, especially prayers attributed to Saint Basil the Great and Saint John Chrysostom. These prayers may be read for people believed to be afflicted by demonic forces, spiritual oppression, or severe disturbance. But Orthodox sources emphasize that the rite is usually solemn and prayerful rather than theatrical or sensational exorcistic prayers. also appear in baptismal ceremonies, where the person being baptized renounces evil before entering the life of the Church. Orthodox teaching, like Catholic practice, does not treat every unusual condition as a possession case, and does not present exorcism as a replacement for proper medical care.
Number 3. Anglican and Protestant deliverance ministry. Many Anglican, Pentecostal, charismatic, and evangelical communities prefer the term deliverance ministry rather than exorcism, because the emphasis is often broader than simply commanding a demon to leave. Deliverance ministry may involve prayer, scripture, pastoral care, blessing, and spiritual support for people who fear oppression, evil influence, troubling experiences in a home, or a sense that something spiritually harmful is present. The Church of England describes deliverance as a carefully governed pastoral ministry, not merely a dramatic confrontation with evil, and in practice it is often approached with caution, discernment, and concern for the person's overall well-being.
In some Protestant traditions, however, deliverance may be more direct and confrontational, especially in charismatic settings that speak openly of spiritual warfare.
Number 4. Islamic ruqyah. In Islam, the most widely recognized form of spiritual healing connected to exorcism is ruqyah, a practice based on recitation of Quranic verses, supplications, and remembrance of Allah. Ruqyah is commonly associated with seeking protection or relief from perceived harm caused by jinn, sorcery, the evil eye, or other unseen influences. Though Islamic scholarship distinguishes carefully between lawful ruqyah grounded in scripture and prayer, and questionable practices that drift into superstition or forbidden methods at its core, ruqyah is not meant to be performance or spectacle, but a religious act of seeking divine protection and healing through words considered sacred within Islam. Number 5. Jewish dybbuk exorcism. In Jewish mystical and folkloric tradition, a dybbuk is often described as a troubled or wandering soul that attaches itself to a living person, creating a form of possession that is very different from the Christian image of demonic invasion. The purpose of a dybbuk exorcism is not necessarily to destroy the spirit, but to separate it from the host and compel, persuade, or guide it to depart. Historical accounts describe the involvement of a learned rabbi, often one respected for mystical authority, along with prayers, psalms, the blowing of the shofar, and solemn commands directed toward the possessing soul. Dybbuk exorcisms are especially associated with early modern and Eastern European Jewish folklore and mystical literature, rather than ordinary mainstream Jewish religious practice today. Number 6. Hindu and South Asian spirits removal traditions. In Hindu and broader South Asian contexts, spirit affliction may be addressed through several overlapping religious, regional, and healing traditions. One important historical category is Bhuta Vidya, an Ayurvedic field concerned with disturbances once attributed to spirits, unseen forces, or possession-like states, though later interpretations also connect it with questions of mental and psychological suffering. In addition to this medical religious framework, some parts of India maintain temple-based or regional exorcistic healing traditions that may include mantras, offerings, fire rites, vows, invocations of deities, and ritual confrontation with harmful entities.
These practices vary greatly by place, community, and theological background, but they share the idea that spiritual disturbance may require a ritual response aimed at restoring order and releasing the afflicted from what is believed to be holding them.
Number 7. Buddhist spirit, healing, and exorcistic rites.
Buddhism is not centered on exorcism as a universal doctrine, yet many local Buddhist cultures develop spirit healing and exorcistic practices shaped by regional beliefs. In Thai spirit exorcism, a healer or former monk may work to remove or repel a harmful spirit using chants, protective boundaries, ritual objects, and symbolic acts meant to drive the disturbance away. In some Burmese Buddhist traditions, ritual specialists perform ceremonies aimed at confronting harmful beings or distinguishing dangerous spirit possession from accepted forms of devotional practice.
These rites do not represent all Buddhism, but they show how Buddhist communities in different regions sometimes integrated local spirit beliefs into healing rituals designed to calm, banish, or redirect feared supernatural influences. Number 8. Shinto purification in Japan. Shinto traditions often frame the problem less as demonic possession and more as spiritual impurity, pollution, or imbalance that must be cleansed before proper harmony can be restored. The central rite is known as harai or hare, a form of purification that may use water, salt, fire, or priestly ritual to cleanse a person, object, building, or even an entire community. Rather than expelling a devil in the Western sense, Shinto purification seeks to remove defilement and restore a state of purity that allows respectful approach to the kami, the sacred powers or deities of Shinto belief. This makes Shinto purification one of the clearest examples of a tradition where the spiritual danger is treated as contamination or disorder, not necessarily as possession by an evil being. Number 9. Daoist and Chinese folk exorcism. Daoist ritual culture developed a rich and highly formalized world of exorcistic practice. One that may involve trained ritual masters, sacred writing, talismans, petitions to heavenly authorities, incantations and rites intended to command, repel, or contain disruptive spirits. In some Daoist frameworks, the exorcist is not simply praying for help, but functioning almost like an official within a sacred cosmic order, addressing the unseen world through ritual documents, divine authority, and prescribed ceremonial action. Talismans and amulets have historically played an especially important role in Daoist exorcistic systems, sometimes understood as spiritually empowered instruments for healing, defense, or the trapping and banishing of hostile forces. Number 10. Yorùbá and other African tradition healing systems.
African traditional religions are extremely diverse, so there is no single practice that can fairly be called African exorcism. But many systems include rituals for addressing spiritually caused illness or disturbance. In Yorùbá healing traditions, such cases may involve divination, incantations, sacrifices or offerings, appeals to deities, and the invocation of ancestral or spiritual forces through trained practitioners. The goal is not always simple expulsion, because the disturbance may be understood as requiring removal, appeasement, correction, or restoration of spiritual balance. This approach reflects a broader worldview in which illness, misfortune, and unseen conflict can sometimes be interpreted through relationships between the living, the divine, and the ancestral world.
Number 11. Haitian Vodou and Afro-Caribbean traditions. Haitian Vodou offers a major contrast to Christian-style exorcism. Because possession is not automatically considered evil during ceremony, possession by the Elwa can be sacred, expected, and socially meaningful, allowing spirits to communicate, bless, advise, or interact with the community through ritual forms involving music, drumming, dance, and recognition. At the same time, Vodou traditions also acknowledge harmful spiritual intrusion, curses, and hostile forces, which may be addressed through protective and healing rituals performed by qualified religious specialists. The key distinction is essential. Sacred possession is accepted and ritualized, while harmful spiritual attack is resisted, treated, or ritually undone. Thank you for your support, and thank you for tuning into the darkest horror stories of your life. Some of the stories are based on true events or experiences. Please do us a favor. If you could hit like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. Never listen alone, and stay tuned for new paranormal and horror stories.